Control your mind, control your life. The battlefield of life is not in the streets, not in the markets, not in the halls of power. The true battlefield is within your own mind. If you fail there, you fail everywhere. But if you win there, no external force can break you. The Stoics understood this truth centuries ago. Marcus Aurelius, emperor of Rome, ruled not just armies but himself. He wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." These words remain timeless. They remind us that mastery begins not with wealth, status, or circumstance, but with the discipline of thought, the prison of an undisciplined mind. When the mind is uncontrolled, it becomes a cruel master. Worry chains us to the future. Regret ties us to the past. Fear whispers lies that paralyze us. Desire pulls us endlessly in directions that leave us empty. Anger erupts and destroys what we have built. Look at the complainer, the one who blames the world for his misery. His mind is his cage. Every thought of unfairness becomes another bar in his prison. But the disciplined person, even in chains, remains free, for freedom is not outside, but inside. The power of mental discipline. Control of the mind does not mean suppression of thought, but mastery of it. You are not forced to believe every story your mind tells you. You can choose what to focus on, what to accept, and what to discard. Epictetus, once a slave, became one of the greatest teachers of freedom. He taught, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them." Discipline of thought transforms pain into endurance, insults into lessons, obstacles into opportunities. Training the mind daily. Like a soldier sharpens his sword, the Stoic sharpens his mind. Discipline is not a one-time victory, it is daily practice. Morning reflection. Begin the day by preparing for challenges. Expect insults, delays, hardships. If you expect them, you are never surprised. The Stoic pause. Before reacting to anger or fear, pause. Ask, is this within my control? If yes, act with reason. If no, release it. Mental diet. Guard what enters your mind as carefully as food enters your body. Limit gossip, shallow distractions, endless noise. Feed the mind with wisdom. Evening review. Before sleep, examine your thoughts of the day. Where did you complain? Where did you let emotions rule? Learn and sharpen again tomorrow. These practices may seem small, but small steps repeated daily forge an iron mind. Freedom through mastery. The paradox is clear. The one who disciplines his mind is the freest of all. The one who refuses discipline becomes a slave to fear, anger, desire, and others' opinions. Control your mind and insults lose their sting. Control your mind and suffering becomes training. Control your mind and wealth or poverty are the same, because your true treasure lies within. Seneca wrote, "It is the power of the mind to be unconquerable. The storms of life will come, but a disciplined mind is a fortress no wind can break." Modern application. In today's world, distractions scream louder than ever. Every notification, every post, every demand fights for a piece of your attention. Without discipline, your mind is scattered, your energy drained, your peace destroyed. But discipline offers clarity. It means choosing focus over chaos, silence over noise, intention over impulse. It is not easy. But what is easy rarely makes us strong. The reward of mastery. What happens when you truly control your mind? You gain unshakable calm. You become resilient in the face of hardship. You act with reason, not reaction. You live with purpose, not drift. And most importantly, you are free. Free from the tyranny of fear. Free from the slavery of desire. free from the poison of complaint. Control your mind and you will control your life, for no external power is greater than the discipline you hold within yourself. The enemy within. How weak thoughts destroy a strong life. If your mind is undisciplined, your greatest enemy is not the world, it is yourself. Most people blame society, politics, money, or fate for their unhappiness. But look closer. The enemy sits silently inside the head, restless, complaining, craving, fearing. The weight of complaints. Every complaint is a chain on the soul. Life is unfair. People don't respect me. The world owes me more. These thoughts weaken the spirit. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, do not waste the rest of your life complaining about others unless you want to waste your own. Complaints trap the mind in bitterness, and bitterness kills strength. The Stoics refused to surrender to such poison. They trained their minds to endure what cannot be changed and to act with courage where change is possible. This discipline turned pain into power. Fear as a master. Fear is another tyrant of the undisciplined mind. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of death. Each fear whispers, stay small, stay safe, do not try. And so the fearful man lives half a life, avoiding risk, but never truly living. Epictetus knew this well. Born into slavery, he had every reason to be afraid. Yet he taught, it is not death or pain that is to be feared, but the fear of death or pain. Fear loses its teeth when the mind chooses courage over panic. Desire as a trap. Desire too enslaves. The undisciplined mind is never satisfied. It chases wealth, pleasure, recognition, yet every victory leaves it emptier than before. Seneca wrote, no man is free who is a slave to his body. He meant that chasing cravings without discipline only deepens slavery. The disciplined mind does not kill desire, it commands it. It says, I will enjoy what I have, and I will endure what I lack. In this way, it turns desire from master into servant. Anger as poison. Then comes anger, the loudest tyrant of all. Anger blinds reason and drives reckless actions. The undisciplined mind believes anger is strength, but it is weakness dressed in fire. A single moment of rage can destroy years of effort. Seneca called anger temporary madness. To discipline the mind is to pause before reacting, to let reason cool the flames. The Stoic learns, it is not the insult that harms, but the surrender of calm. Training against the inner enemy. The undisciplined mind creates its own misery. But like a soldier trains against a powerful enemy, we too can train against weakness. Replace complaint with gratitude. When tempted to whine, list 3 things you are thankful for. Gratitude kills bitterness. Face fear in small doses. Take small risks daily. Speak up, step forward, endure discomfort. Courage grows by exercise. Restrain desire. Skip luxuries on purpose. Eat simple food. Sleep without comfort sometimes. By saying no, you become stronger. Pause before anger. Count to 10. Breathe. Ask, will this matter a year from now? Most anger evaporates under perspective. Each practice weakens the enemy within and strengthens the fortress of the mind. The unbreakable fortress. Imagine a man disciplined in mind. He loses wealth but not peace. He suffers pain but not despair. He faces death but not fear. Such a man cannot be conquered. His strength does not depend on chance, but on mastery of thought. Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. These are not empty words, they are weapons. The disciplined mind is a fortress that no storm can breach. The greatest victory is not over others, but over yourself. Defeat your complaints, fears, desires, and anger, and you will walk free. Daily Stoic practices. Training the mind. Like a muscle. A strong mind is not born, it is trained. Just as the body grows stronger through daily exercise, the mind gains discipline through daily practice. The Stoics were not content with lofty theories. They lived philosophy as a routine, shaping each thought with intention. Morning preparation. Begin with strength. Marcus Aurelius started each day with a reminder. Today, I shall meet with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness, all of them due to the offender's ignorance of what is good or evil. This was not pessimism, but preparation. By expecting challenges, he removed their power to shock him. You too can begin the day with a Stoic preparation. Before rising, tell yourself, I will face delays, frustrations, and unfairness, but none of these can control my mind unless I allow them. Preparedness transforms obstacles into training, not surprises. The Stoic pause. A moment of power. Life will provoke you. Traffic jams, rude words, bad news. The ordinary person reacts instantly, like a puppet pulled by strings. But the disciplined mind pauses. In that pause lies freedom. Ask, is this within my control? If yes, act with reason. If no, release it. This simple habit, repeated 100 times a day, builds unshakable calm. The pause is a sword, cutting through chaos, reminding you that your mind is always yours to command. Voluntary discomfort, training in hardship. Seneca recommended periods of voluntary poverty, eating coarse bread, drinking water, sleeping on the ground. Why? To prove to himself that he could endure with little. When you practice discomfort, fear of loss weakens. Try fasting for a day, walking in the rain, or turning off your phone for hours. Small hardships train the mind to stay firm in larger storms. Discipline grows not in comfort, but in struggle. Journaling. The mirror of the mind, Epictetus urged his students to examine themselves daily. Marcus Aurelius wrote his meditations not for an audience, but as self-discipline, correcting his thoughts on paper. Each evening, take a notebook. Write, where did I lose control of my mind today? Where did I succeed? What will I improve tomorrow? This habit sharpens self-awareness. A mind that observes itself grows harder to enslave. Gratitude, the antidote to complaint. The undisciplined mind loves to complain, but gratitude silences complaint before it grows. Seneca wrote, nothing is more honorable than a grateful heart. Each day, list 3 simple things you are grateful for. A meal, a friend's word, the breath in your lungs. Gratitude redirects the mind from scarcity to abundance, from bitterness to strength. Modern practices for a distracted age. The ancients faced insults and hardship. We face noise and distraction. But the principles are the same. Train the mind by guarding attention. Digital fasting. Spend a day without social media. Focused work. Dedicate time blocks with full attention, no multitasking. Silence. Sit quietly for 10 minutes, noticing thoughts without reacting. These are modern forms of Stoic exercise, ways to regain command over a restless mind. The discipline of repetition. Do not expect mastery in a day. The mind, like the body, changes through repetition. Small actions, repeated daily, become strength. The Stoics believed philosophy is not a lecture hall, but a workshop. Every morning reflection, every pause, every journal entry is another strike of the hammer, shaping the mind into steel. Control is built in moments, not miracles. Train your mind each day with discipline, and one day you will discover it is no longer your master, but your servant. Memento mori. Discipline through the memory of death. Every human being carries the same fate. We will die. Yet most live as if death will never come, wasting time on trivialities, clinging to complaints, drowning in desires. The Stoics refused this illusion. They embraced a simple reminder. Memento mori. Remember you must die. Death as the ultimate teacher. Marcus Aurelius reflected often on mortality. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. These words are not meant to frighten, but to sharpen. When you remember death, complaints lose their voice. Suddenly, the insult, the delay, the inconvenience, none of these matter when measured against the brevity of life. Seneca warned against wasting time. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Death reveals that our most precious resource is not wealth or status, but time. The undisciplined mind and death. The undisciplined mind fears death. It hides from the thought, pretending life is endless. But in doing so, it becomes anxious and weak. Fear of death drives desperation, greed, and panic. The disciplined mind faces death with calm. By remembering it daily, the Stoic transforms fear into clarity and urgency into purpose. Daily practice of memento mori. Morning reflection. Upon waking, remind yourself, this day may be my last. How will I use it? This transforms laziness into action. Nightly reflection. Before sleep, imagine that this may be your final rest. This silences regret and deepens gratitude. Visualization. Picture your own mortality, not with horror, but with acceptance. This prepares the mind for courage when real loss arrives. Each practice forges discipline by cutting away illusions. Death as equalizer, the mighty emperor and the poorest beggar share the same end. Wealth cannot bribe death, nor can fame delay it. In this, death humbles all. Complaints, greed, pride, what are they in the face of the grave? Epictetus taught, I cannot escape death, but at least I can escape the fear of it. By disciplining the mind to accept mortality, the Stoic frees himself from the greatest chain of all, fear of the inevitable. Living without complaint. When you live with death in mind, your energy shifts. Complaining about minor troubles seems absurd when life itself is fleeting. Every moment becomes too precious to waste on bitterness. Imagine two people. One curses the rain, the other thanks the rain because he knows he may never see it again. The difference is not circumstance, but discipline of thought. Modern application. In today's world, death is hidden, pushed away by medicine, technology, entertainment. We avoid speaking of it, yet anxiety about it grows. The Stoic approach is different. Confront it daily, calmly, wisely. Write it in your journal. I will die. Speak it not with fear, but with freedom. Suddenly, arguments shrink, complaints dissolve, distractions fade. The mind becomes sharp, disciplined by reality. The gift of mortality. To remember death is not to despair, it is to live fully. Memento mori reminds you to love deeply, act courageously, and discipline your mind today, not tomorrow. For tomorrow is never promised. Seneca wrote, "He who has learned how to die has unlearned how to be a slave." In facing death, we learn freedom. To control your mind, remember your death. For the one who lives with death in mind wastes no moment, complains of no triviality, and walks through life with courage and strength. The discipline of emotion, mastering anger, fear, and desire. The mind cannot be truly controlled until the emotions are mastered. Anger, fear, and desire, these are the three storms that most often shake the human heart. Left undisciplined, they destroy peace and enslave the soul. But guided by Stoic discipline, they can be transformed into strength. Anger, fire that burns the holder. First, Seneca warned, anger is like a falling rock which breaks itself to pieces upon the very thing it crushes. Many believe anger is power. In truth, it is weakness, a loss of self-control. The undisciplined mind reacts to insult with rage, but the disciplined mind pauses. It remembers Marcus Aurelius's counsel. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. To master anger is not to suppress it, but to see it clearly and let reason extinguish its flames. Practice. When provoked, delay your response. Breathe deeply. Ask, will this matter a year from now? Most anger shrinks under perspective. Fear, the phantom that chains us. Fear is perhaps the strongest of emotions and the most deceptive. Epictetus reminded his students, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. The undisciplined mind trembles before shadows of what might happen. Fear of rejection, fear of loss, fear of death, each one a phantom that paralyzes action. But the disciplined mind tests fear by facing it. It learns that courage is not the absence of fear, but control of it. Practice. Each day, do something small that frightens you. Speak up, step forward, embrace discomfort. By confronting fear in doses, you weaken its grip on the mind. Desire, the endless hunger. Desire whispers, one more then I'll be satisfied. But the undisciplined mind never rests. It chases wealth, pleasure, recognition, yet remains empty. Seneca wrote, he who is not content with little will not be content with much. The disciplined mind enjoys pleasure without being consumed by it. It says yes with moderation and no with strength. Desire becomes a servant, not a master. Practice. Occasionally deny yourself what you crave: rich food, luxury, entertainment. By choosing less, you prove to yourself that happiness lies not in possession, but in self-command. Transforming emotion into strength. The Stoics did not seek to erase emotions, but to guide them. Anger can become courage against injustice. Fear can become caution and preparation. Desire can become ambition, directed toward virtue. The undisciplined mind is tossed by emotion like a ship in storm. The disciplined mind is the captain, steering each wave into purpose. Modern application. Emotional storms today. In the modern world, anger explodes online, fear spreads through news, and desire is inflamed by advertising. To live stoically is to resist these manipulations. Before reacting online, pause. Will your words build or destroy? Before believing fear-mongering, ask, is this under my control? Before buying or consuming, ask, do I truly need this, or am I a slave to want? These simple questions are acts of rebellion against a culture of impulse. The reward of emotional discipline. To master emotion is to reclaim the mind. Anger loses its chains, fear loses its teeth, desire loses its whip. What remains is calm strength, the ability to act with reason, not reaction. Marcus Aurelius described this ideal. You will find rest from vain fancies if you perform every act in life as though it were your last. The disciplined mind lives calmly, acts wisely, and loves freely because it is not ruled by storms. He who controls his emotions controls his mind, and he who controls his mind controls his life. Discipline is freedom. The Stoic paradox. To many people, discipline sounds like chains, rules, restrictions, denial. They imagine a narrow life stripped of joy. But the Stoics taught the opposite. True freedom does not come from doing whatever you want. It comes from mastering yourself. The illusion of freedom. Look at the undisciplined life. A man drinks whatever he wishes, spends whatever he earns, says whatever he feels. He thinks he is free. But is he? In truth, he is chained to alcohol, to debt, to impulse. His freedom is an illusion, for every desire commands him like a master. Seneca warned, to be enslaved to oneself is the heaviest of all servitudes. Without discipline, freedom collapses into slavery of the mind. Self-mastery is true. Liberty Epictetus, born a slave, discovered freedom not through chains being broken, but through the mind being mastered. He taught, no man is free who is not master of himself. Discipline frees you from the tyranny of appetite. It breaks the chains of fear. It silences the noise of anger. It reduces desire to its proper place. In this way, discipline removes external masters and replaces them with inner command. The man who controls his mind cannot be enslaved by fortune, insult, or even death. He is free because nothing rules him but reason. Practical discipline that creates freedom. Discipline of time. By managing hours with intention, you are free from regret and waste. Discipline of emotion. By mastering anger and fear, you are free to act calmly under pressure. Discipline of desire. By moderating wants, you are free from endless chasing. Discipline of thought. By filtering your judgments, you are free from illusion and manipulation. Each act of discipline cuts away a chain. Each refusal to be ruled adds strength to your freedom. The comfort trap. Modern culture confuses freedom with comfort. Do whatever feels good. But comfort enslaves. The body grows weak, the mind grows soft, and the soul forgets how to stand. The Stoics trained through voluntary discomfort to prove that freedom lies not in comfort, but in resilience. Skip a luxury, embrace a challenge, accept a hardship, and you will feel stronger, freer. Freedom from complaint. The complainer believes he has no choice. The world is unfair. I cannot act. This is slavery to circumstance. But the Stoic, disciplined in mind, refuses to be bound by complaint. He sees that while events cannot be controlled, his response always can. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You may not control events, but you can always control your mind. And when you do, you will be free." Modern application. Freedom in a distracted age. Today, distraction is the new slavery. Notifications, advertisements, endless entertainment, each steals your attention, chaining your mind to impulses. Discipline is the rebellion. By saying no, you reclaim your time, your thoughts, your freedom. Try this. Turn off your phone for an hour. Sit in silence. Work deeply. Notice the sudden freedom from noise. That is the Stoic paradox. Discipline creates space. Space creates freedom. The highest freedom of the ultimate freedom is not the ability to indulge every whim, but to walk calmly through life, untouched by chaos. To enjoy wealth without clinging. To face death without trembling. To endure insult without rage. This is the freedom the Stoics lived. Not the shallow freedom of indulgence, but the deep freedom of mastery. Discipline is not chains. Discipline is wings. It does not shrink your life. It expands it. It lifts you above impulse, fear, and weakness into the clear sky of freedom. Discipline in suffering. Turning pain into strength. Suffering is certain. Illness, loss, betrayal, hardship, no life escapes them. The question is not if you will suffer, but how you will face it. The undisciplined mind complains and collapses. The disciplined mind endures, learns, and grows stronger. The Stoic view of suffering. Epictetus, once a slave who lived with a crippled leg, declared, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Marcus Aurelius, an emperor burdened with war and plague, wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." For the Stoics, suffering was not an accident, but a training ground. Pain was not merely endured, it was transformed. Complaint doubles pain when hardship arrives. The undisciplined add, complaint to injury. A wound hurts twice when the mind protests. "This should not happen to me," Seneca observed. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Complaint multiplies pain by chaining the mind to it. The Stoic discipline is to accept what is, without protest, and turn energy toward endurance, reframing pain as training. A soldier does not curse the weight of his armor. He knows it prepares him for battle. Likewise, the Stoic reframes hardship as training of the soul. Each struggle is an opportunity to practice patience, courage, or resilience. Ask yourself, what virtue is this suffering training in me? Suddenly, pain becomes purpose. Practical habits for enduring suffering. Voluntary hardship. Train in small discomforts, cold showers, fasting, exercise, so that when true hardship comes, your mind is ready. Shift perspective. Instead of "why me?" ask "what now?" Move from complaint to action. Focus on control. You may not control illness or loss, but you control dignity, endurance, and courage. Daily gratitude. Even in pain, list what remains. Gratitude turns despair into balance. Suffering in the modern world today. Suffering often comes as stress, anxiety, burnout, financial worry. The complainer sinks under the weight, blaming the world. The disciplined mind uses stress as signal. Adjust, adapt, strengthen. Overwhelmed at work. Use it to train focus. Lonely. Use it to train patience and compassion. Facing rejection. Use it to train humility and perseverance. The Stoic turns each hardship into a lesson. The dignity of endurance. There is silent dignity in enduring without complaint. To suffer and yet remain calm is to show mastery over the mind. Imagine two men under the same burden. One curses, the other carries silently with steady step. Who is stronger? Who is freer? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment, the fruits of suffering." Well, resilience. Hardship endured makes future trials lighter. Wisdom. Pain teaches lessons no comfort can. Compassion. Those who suffer deeply can comfort others honestly. Strength. The soul polished by fire shines with courage. The Stoics believed that suffering can break a man or make him unbreakable. Do not waste suffering by complaining. Use it, transform it, let it carve strength into your soul. Discipline in relationships, love, friendship, and conflict. No man lives alone. We are born into families, shaped by friendships, tested by conflict. But where people gather, complaints multiply about betrayal, disappointment, unfairness. The Stoics knew, to master the mind, one must also master conduct with others. Discipline in relationships is not cold detachment, but wise engagement. Love without chains. Love is powerful. Yet undisciplined love often turns into possession, jealousy, fear of loss. The Stoics taught that true love is not control, but freedom, caring deeply without clinging desperately. Epictetus said, "When you kiss your child, whisper to yourself, 'Tomorrow he may die.' This is not cruelty, but discipline. To love with awareness of mortality is to cherish without illusion. It prevents complaint when fate takes what was never ours to keep. Friendship built on virtue. Seneca wrote, "He who is a friend to all is a friend to none." True friendship is rare, not built on flattery or convenience, but on shared pursuit of virtue. The undisciplined complain when friends fail to entertain or reward them. The disciplined choose friends not for benefit, but for character. When such friendships face storms, they endure because their foundation is stronger than circumstance. Discipline in conflict. Conflict is inevitable. Words wound, tempers flare. The undisciplined lash out with anger, complain of injustice, escalate chaos. The disciplined remember Marcus Aurelius's advice. The best way to avenge yourself is to not be like your enemy. When insulted, the Stoic pauses. He asks, "Is this ignorance? Is this weakness? Why should I be ruled by another's failure?" By responding with calm reason, he disarms the storm. Family duties. Family can test patience more than strangers. Complaints arise in duties, caring for parents, raising children, enduring disagreements. The Stoics framed duty not as burden, but as nature. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "We were made for cooperation, like feet, like hands." To fulfill family duty with discipline is to practice patience, forgiveness, and resilience daily. It transforms obligation into virtue. The discipline of speech. Much relational harm comes from words. Gossip, lies, and complaints poison trust. The Stoic disciplines his tongue, speaks only what is true, useful, kind. He chooses silence over empty noise. Seneca counseled, "Speech should be like gold, rare and precious." In disciplined speech, relationships are preserved, conflict is softened, and respect is earned. Compassion without weakness. Some mistake Stoicism for coldness, but the Stoic heart is not stone, it is steady. He shows compassion, but not indulgence. He helps others without becoming enslaved by their complaints. Discipline and compassion means balancing care with boundaries. To help wisely is to serve virtue, not enable weakness. Modern application. Today, relationships are tested by constant noise, messages, social media, public comparison. Complaints grow louder. They ignored me. They didn't reply. They disappointed me. The disciplined mind resists. In love, cherish without chains. In friendship, choose quality, not quantity. In conflict, pause, don't react. In family, fulfill duties with patience. In speech, measure words. These habits build connections that are strong, calm, and free of endless complaints. The fruit of disciplined relationships. Peace, less drama, fewer regrets. Strength, patience tested daily builds resilience. Trust, honesty, and measured speech create respect. Balance, love and compassion guided by reason, not impulse. To master relationships is to free the mind from the heaviest burden of all, resentment. The Stoic does not escape relationships, he elevates them. Through discipline, he loves more deeply, befriends more wisely, and endures conflict more calmly. In this way, his mind remains his own, even in the company of others. Discipline of time. Guarding life's most precious resource. Of all things given to us, nothing is more valuable and more wasted than time. Gold can be regained, possessions replaced, health restored. But time, once lost, never returns. The Stoics warned, to live undisciplined with time is to throw life itself away. The illusion of endless time. Most people live as if they were immortal. They postpone virtue, delay discipline, promise themselves, "Tomorrow I will begin." But tomorrow is not promised. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short life, but that we waste much of it." Complaints, procrastination, trivial distractions, these are thieves of time. Each wasted hour is a piece of life surrendered forever. Complaints as time thieves. The complainer spends his hours repeating grievances, rehearsing anger, magnifying hardship. Time flows, but nothing changes. The disciplined mind sees complaint as double loss. First, the hardship, then the hours wasted lamenting it. By silencing complaint, you reclaim not only peace, but precious time. The Stoic practice of time. Discipline. Morning resolve. Begin each day with clear intent. What will I do with these hours? Guarded focus. Work on what is essential. Say no to distractions. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Do less, but do it better." Evening review. Reflect nightly. Where did I waste? Where did I live well? Limit the trivial. Gossip, shallow pleasures, idle scrolling. Cut them. Replace them with study, reflection, or meaningful action. Living in the present. The undisciplined mind lives in the past or fears the future. But life exists only now. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "Confine yourself to the present." To discipline time is to discipline thought, anchoring the mind in the moment, acting with intention, letting go of regret and anxiety. Modern application. A distracted age. In today's world, time is devoured by endless noise, notifications, entertainment, scrolling feeds. Hours disappear unnoticed. The undisciplined surrender willingly. The Stoic resists. He treats attention as treasure. He chooses depth over distraction, silence over noise, substance over waste. Try this. Set aside sacred hours for focused work. Turn off unnecessary alerts. Replace 1 hour of consumption with 1 hour of creation. Remember mortality. Each hour could be your last. The freedom of guarded time. When you discipline time, you gain freedom. The freedom to act, to grow, to rest with peace. You are no longer dragged by every demand or enslaved by urgency. You choose. Seneca observed, "Life is long if you know how to use it." The disciplined man lives richly, not by adding years, but by filling each with meaning. The fruit of time. Disciplined clarity. Knowing what truly matters. Peace. Less regret. Less anxiety. Strength. Each hour used builds resilience and virtue. Legacy. A life not wasted, but invested. Guard your time as you would your life, because it is your life. To discipline time is to discipline existence itself. Discipline in work and creation, building strength through duty work. For many, it feels like burden, drudgery, endless repetition. Yet for the Stoics, work was not punishment. It was practice, a chance to shape character, to serve others, to leave behind a legacy. Discipline in work transforms labor from prison into purpose. Work as duty, not punishment. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, 'I am rising to do the work of a human being.' The undisciplined complain, 'Why must I work? Why must life be hard?' The disciplined replies, 'Because this is nature.' To act, to serve, to build work is not curse, it is duty. Complaints. Poison labor. A task may be heavy, but complaint makes it heavier. The one who grumbles through his work doubles his burden. The Stoic silences complaint and focuses on action. In discipline, even simple labor becomes noble. Seneca wrote, "Work nourishes the soul when it is free from complaint." Striving for excellence. The Stoics taught, "Do not chase applause, but do your work with excellence for its own sake." Whether sweeping streets or leading armies, the standard is the same: virtue. Epictetus counseled, "Do your duty with a firm and cheerful spirit, without seeking reward." Discipline in work is measured not by recognition, but by integrity. Work as service work is not only self-fulfillment, it is contribution. A farmer feeds, a builder shelters, a teacher enlightens. The Stoics saw service as the highest work. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What is not good for the hive is not good for the bee." To work with discipline is to serve the whole, not just the self. Endurance in hardship. Work often brings fatigue, monotony, obstacles. The undisciplined surrender to complaint. The disciplined endure, treating hardship as training. Just as muscles grow by resistance, the soul grows by persevering in duty. Voluntary discomfort, working beyond comfort, enduring discipline, fortifies the spirit. Creation. As legacy beyond daily tasks, there is creation, writing, art, invention, acts of thought that outlast life. Marcus Aurelius's meditations were not written for fame, yet they became a timeless legacy. To create with discipline, day by day, word by word, is to carve permanence out of passing hours. Complaint produces nothing. Discipline produces legacy. Modern application. Work today. In the modern world, work is often endured for money alone. This leads to burnout, resentment, complaint. The Stoic approach is different. See work as training ground for patience and endurance. Treat every task, however small, as chance to practice virtue. Focus on what you can control, effort, not results. Connect work to service. Ask, whom does this help? When work becomes aligned with virtue, even routine becomes meaningful. The fruits of disciplined work. Strength, endurance forged through daily duty. Peace, freedom from complaint and bitterness. Excellence, habit of doing all things well. Legacy, contribution that outlives the worker. Do not curse your work, conquer it. In discipline, duty becomes purpose, labor becomes service, effort becomes excellence. Work shapes not just what you produce, but who you become. Discipline in desire and pleasure, master or slave. Desire is natural. To eat, to drink, to love, to rest, these are human needs. But when desire is undisciplined, it grows into chains. Pleasure becomes master, and man becomes slave. The Stoics warned, he who cannot resist pleasure is owned by it. The endless trap of wanting the world whispers constantly, more, better, faster, newer, a new possession, a sweeter taste, a deeper indulgence. Yet the more one consumes, the less one is satisfied. Seneca observed, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." Complaints arise not from lack, but from unending craving. The Stoic answer, moderation. The Stoics did not reject pleasure, they mastered it. They drank wine but were not drunk by it. They enjoyed comfort, but did not collapse without it. Epictetus taught, "When you are delighted with anything, remember to say to yourself, 'This is not mine, but a thing given for a time.' To enjoy without clinging is true freedom." Voluntary simplicity. Seneca practiced days of poverty, rough clothes, coarse bread, hard floor, not because he despised wealth, but to prove he could live without it. Voluntary discomfort trains the soul to be free. Pleasure becomes sweeter when it is not necessity. Luxury becomes harmless when you can live without it. Desire as servant, not master. Pleasure is not evil, but the disciplined mind makes desire a servant, not a ruler. He chooses what is fitting, rejects what is harmful, and remains steady whether in feast or famine. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, if you seek tranquility, do less, or do only what is essential. By limiting desires, peace expands. Practical habits for desire, disciplined practice. Saying no, decline small cravings daily, skip the extra indulgence, delay gratification. Fast or simplify. Eat less, spend less, rest less often, prove mastery over appetite. Gratitude, over greed. Focus on what you already have instead of what you lack. Choose purposeful pleasure. Accept joy that builds strength. Reject pleasure that weakens. Modern application. Consumer age. Today, desires are magnified. Advertisements, media, endless scrolling. Complaints thrive. I don't have enough. I need more. The Stoic rebels by needing little. He chooses silence over noise, simplicity over clutter, self-control over surrender. In this, he becomes unshakable, the fruit of disciplined desire. Contentment. The rich man is not he who has much, but he who wants little. Freedom. No pleasure enslaves him. Strength. Resilience against loss or temptation. Joy. Pure enjoyment of what is, without fear of losing it. Do not kill desire. Command it. Pleasure is sweetest when it serves you, not when it rules you. The Stoic lives free, balanced, unchained, master of himself, not slave of craving. Discipline in anger and conflict. The calm. Within the storm. Anger burns fast. It rises in the chest, blinds the eyes, poisons the tongue. It promises strength but delivers weakness. The Stoics warned, anger is not power, it is slavery. To master the mind, one must master anger. The destruction of undisciplined anger, Seneca devoted an entire work to on anger, calling it temporary madness. Under anger, men kill friends, destroy families, and later regret what cannot be undone. Complaints often come wrapped in rage. This is unfair, this is unbearable. But anger does not solve, it multiplies suffering. The Stoic pause Epictetus advised, if you are tempted to respond in anger, pause before speaking. That pause is discipline. In those seconds, the mind reclaims command from the storm. Marcus Aurelius prepared himself each morning. Today you will meet the ungrateful, the arrogant, the deceitful. Expecting conflict prevents surprise, and surprise is the root of much anger. Seeing through offense. When insulted, the undisciplined mind cries, "How dare they?" The Stoic asks, "Why should I be ruled by another's failure?" To take offense is to hand control of your peace to another. Discipline means seeing insult as noise, not truth. Transforming anger into virtue. Anger need not be wasted, redirected. Turn anger into courage to confront injustice calmly. Turn it into energy for constructive action. The fire of rage, once mastered, becomes the warmth of justice. Seneca wrote, "The best remedy for anger is delay. With time, what felt unbearable shrinks to nothing." Practical habits of anger. Discipline. Pause before replying. Count breaths. Reclaim reason. Lower your voice. Calm tone calms the heart. Reframe offenses. See insults as weakness in others, not wounds to yourself. Delay action. Let one night pass before important decisions in anger. Forgive for yourself. Release anger not for them, but for your own peace. Conflict without complaint. Conflict is part of life. The undisciplined complain. Why must people be so difficult? The Stoic replies, because they are human. Expect imperfection, and conflict becomes training, not tragedy. When facing quarrels, stay calm, seek truth, refuse escalation. You cannot control others' rage, but you can control your own response. Modern application. Outrage culture. Today, Anger is amplified. Online arguments, instant outrage, constant provocation. The undisciplined are puppets, pulled by every insult. The Stoic stands apart. He scrolls without reacting, hears insult without boiling, acts only with reason. The fruit of anger, discipline. Strength, calm under provocation. Clarity, decisions guided by reason, not rage. Freedom, others cannot steal your peace. Dignity. True power lies in self-control, not shouting. To master anger is to master yourself. The storm may rage around you, but within you remains calm. That calm is discipline, and that discipline is freedom. Discipline in suffering, turning pain into strength. No life escapes suffering. Pain, loss, failure, betrayal, these visit every human soul. The question is not if suffering comes, but how we respond when it does. The undisciplined complain, resist, collapse. The disciplined endure, learn, transform. For the Stoics, suffering is not only bearable, it is useful. The inevitability of pain. Epictetus, born a slave and crippled, declared, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond." Pain will strike, but whether it becomes misery or strength lies within our control. Marcus Aurelius, emperor burdened with wars, plague, and betrayal, wrote, "If you are pained by external things, it is not they that disturb you, but your judgment about them." Complaint doubles. Suffering is weight enough. Complaint adds chains. To lament endlessly is to suffer twice. Once from the pain, again from your own resistance. The Stoic silences complaint and faces pain directly, making it lighter. Seneca wrote, "A man who suffers before it is necessary, suffers more than necessary." Reframing hardship as training, the Stoics taught that pain is training for the soul. Just as iron is forged by fire, character is forged by trial. Hardship is opportunity. Patience, courage, endurance, all grow in struggle. Think of the athlete who lifts weights. The weight resists, strains muscles, causes pain. Yet that very resistance builds strength. So too with life's burdens. Practical Stoic habits for enduring pain. Voluntary hardship. Take cold showers, fast, embrace discomfort, so that when real suffering comes, it finds you trained. Shift perspective. Instead of asking, "Why me?" ask, "How can this serve me?" Focus on control. Direct effort toward response, not event. Gratitude in hardship. Find one lesson, one gift, even in pain. Gratitude disarms suffering. Modern application. Stress and loss. Today, our age is full of hidden suffering, anxiety, burnout, loneliness. Many drown in complaint, demanding a painless life. But the Stoics remind us, pain is not the enemy. Weakness is. A lost job can train resilience. A broken relationship can teach independence. Illness can sharpen gratitude. The discipline to turn even wounds into wisdom. The dignity of endurance. There is nobility in silent strength. To bear pain without breaking inspires others, teaches them courage. Seneca called this the majestic silence of endurance. The complainer draws pity. The disciplined draw respect. The fruits of disciplined suffering resilience, stronger with each trial. Wisdom, lessons carved by hardship. Compassion, empathy for fellow sufferers. Freedom, pain loses its terror. Suffering will visit you. Do not waste it. To complain is to squander the gift of trial. To endure is to grow. To transform pain into strength is the highest discipline, the deepest freedom. Discipline in speech, the power of measured words. Words are bridges. They connect mind to mind, heart to heart. But words are also weapons. Once released, they cannot be recalled. The Stoics warned, careless speech creates chaos, while disciplined speech builds peace. To control your life, you must first control your tongue. The danger of loose speech. The undisciplined speak too quickly, too much, too harshly. Gossip destroys trust. Lies erode respect. Complaints poison the air. Anger in words leaves scars deeper than wounds. Seneca declared, "Speech is the mirror of the soul." If men know how to look, they can see what is inside. Words reveal our discipline or our weakness. Silence as strength, Epictetus advised. Let silence be your general rule, or say only what is necessary, and in few words. Silence is not weakness, it is mastery. To pause before answering, to listen more than you speak, to withhold words until they are worthy, this is discipline. Marcus Aurelius counseled himself, if it is not true, do not say it. If it is not right, do not do it. The Stoic ideal of speech. The Stoics held that speech should be simple, clear, direct, free from excess. Truthful, no lies, no exaggeration. Useful, words that help, not harm. To speak little but with purpose is more powerful than endless noise. Practical habits for disciplined speech. Pause before replying. Ask, is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? Practice. Listening. Listening more strengthens the value of what you do say. Avoid gossip. Talking about others' flaws is wasted breath. Lower your tone. Calm voice calms conflict. Daily review. Each night reflect. Did my words serve or harm? Complaints in words. Much of human speech is wasted on complaint. The undisciplined mouth pours constant dissatisfaction into the air, infecting others. The Stoic disciplines his tongue. Instead of, "Why is life so hard?" he asks, "How can I endure with strength?" To speak without complaint is to live without chains. Modern application, a world of noise. Today, speech multiplies, tweets, posts, arguments online. The result, endless noise, little meaning. The Stoic stands apart, fewer words, more weight. One disciplined sentence can be worth more than 1,000 careless ones. The fruit of disciplined speech. Respect, people trust a voice that is measured. Peace, fewer conflicts from careless words. Strength, calm mastery over the tongue. Influence, rare words carry more power. To rule your words is to rule your world. Speech, like thought, must be disciplined. In silence, you find strength. In measured words, you share wisdom. Both are signs of a free and sovereign mind. Discipline in thought, the fortress of the mind. The mind is a battlefield. Every day, thousands of thoughts rise, some noble, some poisonous, some fleeting like shadows. The undisciplined mind is pulled in every direction, restless, anxious, enslaved by illusions. The disciplined mind stands firm, like a fortress against chaos. The root of complaints and weakness. Complaints do not begin with the tongue, they begin in thought. A man thinks, life is unfair, and soon his lips echo the bitterness. Fear grows first in the mind, then paralyzes the body. Desire first sparks an imagination, then chains the will. To master life, you must first master thought. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Filtering thoughts. The Stoics practiced prososche, attention. Not every thought deserves your trust. Just as a guard checks who may enter the city, so must you test each thought. Is this within my control? Is this thought useful or destructive? Does it guide me toward virtue or toward vice? Most thoughts, when examined, wither and die. Only the disciplined mind admits those that serve. Living in the present. Much suffering comes from undisciplined thoughts about past and future, regrets of yesterday, fears of tomorrow. Seneca warned, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." The Stoic trains the mind to dwell in the present moment, where life truly happens. Practical habits for disciplined thought. Morning reflection. Begin each day by setting intentions for the mind. The Stoic pause. Before reacting, separate fact from interpretation. Evening review. Examine thoughts that ruled you. Were they rational or illusions? Mental fasting. Limit distractions, media, noise. Give the mind space to breathe. Reframing, change. This is unbearable, to this is training. Guarding against illusion. The world sells illusions. Wealth as happiness, pleasure as fulfillment, fame as immortality. The undisciplined mind chases shadows. The disciplined mind sees through appearances, recognizing that value lies not in possessions, but in virtue. Epictetus said, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the view which they take of them." Modern application. The distracted age. Our age floods the mind with endless inputs, notifications, news, noise. The undisciplined drown. The Stoic chooses deliberately, fewer inputs, deeper thoughts. He reads with purpose, reflects with patience, and filters what deserves attention. The fruit of disciplined thought. Clarity, seeing reality as it is, not as illusion paints it. Calm, no storm of fear or desire shakes the inner fortress. Freedom, not enslaved by restless imagination. Wisdom, the mind becomes a lamp, guiding life with steady light. To control thought is to control everything. The disciplined mind is sovereign, free from illusions and fears. It stands unshaken while the world trembles, a fortress of clarity and peace. Discipline of purpose, walking the straight path of meaning. A man without purpose drifts like a ship without a rudder, tossed by every wave, guided by every wind. Such a life is filled with confusion, wasted energy, and endless complaints. The Stoics taught, discipline is not only about emotions and thoughts, but also about purpose. To live well is to live with direction. The aimless life, Seneca warned, our plans miscarry because they have no aim. When a man does not know what harbor he is making for, no wind is the right wind. The undisciplined chase wealth, pleasure, approval, yet feel empty when they achieve them. They ask, is this all? They complain about boredom, meaninglessness, lack of fulfillment. The problem is not life, but lack of purpose. Purpose anchors the soul. Marcus Aurelius wrote daily reminders. If you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your judgment of it. And you have the power to wipe out that judgment now. With clear purpose, distractions lose power. Complaints shrink. The disciplined man knows why he rises, why he works, why he suffers. Virtue as the highest purpose. For the Stoics, true purpose is not found in riches or fame, but in virtue, living with courage, justice, self-control, and wisdom. These are unshakable, unaffected by fortune. Seneca wrote, "No man can live happily, or even tolerably, without the pursuit of wisdom and virtue." Practical habits for purpose. Discipline. Daily alignment. Each morning ask, what is essential today? Does it serve my purpose? Examine motives. Am I acting for virtue or for vanity? Set limits. Refuse distractions and ambitions that do not serve your aim. Nightly review. Did I walk straight toward my purpose or wander into noise? Resisting empty ambition. The world tempts with hollow goals, likes, status, applause. The undisciplined chase them, then complain when joy fades. The disciplined see such things as shadows. They do not despise them, but they do not make them gods. The Stoic asks not, "What will I gain?" but "Who will I become?" Modern application: clarity in chaos. In today's world of endless choices, many drown in options. Purpose is the anchor. It filters the trivial, clarifies the essential, and silences complaint. To say yes to one great aim requires saying no to countless distractions. This is discipline in its purest form, the fruit of disciplined purpose. Focus, energy flows to what truly matters. Peace, no regret of wandering aimlessly. Resilience, trials are endured with meaning. Legacy, a straight path leaves a clear trail for others. Without purpose, life is noise. With purpose, even pain sings. The disciplined man chooses his direction, walks steadily, and lives with meaning. Complaints fade, for every step serves his chosen path. Discipline in death and mortality. Memento. Mori. Death is the one certainty. Kings and beggars, warriors and poets all meet the same end. Yet most live as if immortal, wasting time, fearing loss, filling days with complaints. The Stoics turn their eyes directly to death, not with terror, but with discipline. To remember death is to remember life. The illusion of endless tomorrows. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." The undisciplined believe tomorrow is guaranteed. They postpone, they delay, they murmur through each day. Then when death arrives, they panic. The disciplined man accepts. Each day may be the last. Instead of paralyzing him, this thought awakens him. Time is no longer wasted on trivial complaints. It is invested in strength and meaning. Death as a teacher. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "You could leave life right now." Let that determine what you do, say, and think. To meditate on mortality is to strip away illusions. Status, wealth, anger, envy, all look small before the grave. What remains important? Virtue, courage, service, love, equality. Before death, death is the great equalizer. The emperor and the slave share the same fate. Epictetus, once a slave, saw in this truth freedom. Why envy others? Why complain about status when all march toward the same end? Remembering death dissolves petty comparisons. What matters is how one lives, not how long. Practical habits of memento mori. Morning reminder. Begin the day with, "This may be my last sunrise." Nightly review. Ask, "If I do not wake tomorrow, was today lived well?" Simplify choices. In the face of death, many desires lose power. Choose only what matters. Courage in hardship. Death cannot be escaped, but it can be faced with dignity. Modern application. Avoiding death weakens. Life today, death is hidden, sanitized, ignored, denied. Yet fear grows in the silence. The Stoics confront it daily, and in doing so, remove its sting. A man who accepts death is unafraid to live boldly. He wastes no time on complaint. He spends it on what counts. The fruits of remembering death. Urgency. Time is precious. Every moment matters. Courage. Fear of loss no longer rules. Gratitude. Life, fragile and short, becomes sweeter. Freedom. Death enslaves only those who deny it. To fear death is to die many times. To accept death is to live fully. The disciplined mind does not tremble before mortality. It bows, accepts, and rises stronger, knowing that in the shadow of death, every breath is a gift, every act a choice of meaning. Discipline in community and service, living beyond the self. No man is an island. However strong, however wise, life is never lived alone. The Stoics taught that we are born for cooperation, for duty, for service. Yet many resist this truth, choosing selfishness, bitterness, complaint. Discipline is not only inward, it is also outward. To master the self is to serve the whole. The web of humanity. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What brings no benefit to the hive brings none to the bee." Humanity is one body. Harm to one part weakens the whole. The undisciplined live only for themselves, resenting duties, complaining about others. But the disciplined recognize service not as burden, but as nature fulfilled. Service as duty, not charity. For the Stoic, service is not optional kindness, it is justice. Epictetus reminded his students that each role in life carries obligations, as child, as parent, as citizen, as friend. To refuse them is to refuse life itself. Seneca urged, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." Complaints in community. Most conflicts arise not from duty itself, but from complaint about duty. People murmur about their families, their jobs, their neighbors. The Stoic cuts away this poison. He accepts the weight of responsibility and carries it with strength, knowing that duty shapes the soul. Practical habits of Stoic service. Expect imperfection. Others will err. Do not waste time in anger. Act justly. Regardless, your virtue does not depend on their gratitude. Balance self and service. Serve others, but not at the cost of your own discipline. Transform conflict. Each irritation is training for patience. Modern application against cynicism. Our age mocks service. Many act only when applause is promised, or withdraw in cynicism when unappreciated. The Stoic sees beyond applause. He serves quietly, steadily, without complaint. To discipline oneself in service is to become unshakable. No offense deters, no ingratitude stops the work. The fruits of disciplined service. Patience. Forgiving faults of others strengthens the soul. Compassion. Service without complaint purifies the heart. Strength. Duty accepted builds resilience. Meaning, life lived for others is life lived fully. The undisciplined live small lives, chained to self. The disciplined live wide lives, woven into the fabric of humanity. To serve with discipline is to echo the Stoic truth. Greatness is not in being served, but in serving without complaint. Discipline in endurance and consistency. The power of steady steps. Greatness is not forged in a single moment of passion, but in countless small acts repeated daily. The Stoics knew this truth well. Endurance and consistency are the twin pillars of strength. Anyone can act bravely once, endure hardship once, work hard for a day. But the disciplined soul endures steadily, without complaint, turning each day into a brick that builds a fortress of character. The illusion of sudden change. Many dream of instant transformation, one resolution, one burst of motivation, and life will change forever. But passion burns out. Complaint returns when results delay. Seneca warned, "It is not that life is short, but that we make it so by squandering it." Consistency stretches time into growth. Small, repeated efforts accumulate like drops filling a vessel until it overflows. Endurance as training. Marcus Aurelius compared life to a soldier's post. The soldier does not leave when bored or weary. He endures until relieved. The undisciplined flee hardship, complaining of fatigue. The disciplined remain, shaping resilience. Epictetus taught, "Two words should be kept ready in adversity, endure and renounce." Endurance is not weakness, it is mastery. Practical habits of consistency. Daily reflection. Write each day, even if only a line. Measure progress by steps. Do not ask, "Am I finished?" but "Did I advance?" Resist excuses. Fatigue is natural, but discipline is choice. Transform boredom. Repetition is not prison, but training ground. Modern application against the age of restlessness. Today, people chase novelty, new jobs, new relationships, new goals, dropping each when it feels heavy. They complain of monotony, yet it is monotony that builds mastery. The Stoic embraces repetition, knowing that habits shape destiny. The fruits of endurance and consistency. Resilience. The body tires, the mind wavers, but the soul stands firm. Trust. Others rely on the one who shows up without fail. Strength. Muscles, minds, and virtues grow through repetition. Legacy. What is done daily outlives what is done once. To complain is to stop. To endure is to grow. The disciplined life is not a single great leap, but 1,000 steady steps. Each one seems small, but together they carve strength into the soul, a monument built stone by stone. Discipline as eternal legacy. What remains after us? Wealth fades, fame evaporates, bodies return to dust. What then endures? The Stoics answered, character. A disciplined life leaves a legacy not carved in stone, but engraved in memory, in example, in the lives of others. The fragility of earthly glory. Kings have ruled, generals have conquered, poets have sung. Where are they now? Their names forgotten, their monuments broken. Complaints vanish with them, as if they were never spoken. But the disciplined soul leaves behind something death cannot steal, the silent power of a life lived well. Virtue as inheritance. Seneca reminded his students, a good character once established cannot be taken away. Wealth may be stolen, reputation slandered, but discipline, patience, courage, honesty, self-mastery endures. The Stoic legacy is not luxury passed to heirs, but strength passed to minds. How discipline shapes legacy. In family, children learn not from words, but from example. A parent's consistency becomes their inheritance. In community, a man who serves faithfully leaves trust and gratitude beyond his years. In work, what is created with discipline, books, ideas, deeds, outlasts applause. In the soul, virtue is a monument no fire can consume, no time erase. Modern reflection, what will remain? In a world obsessed with quick fame and endless consumption, most chase legacies of numbers and noise. But these fade with the algorithm. What endures is the impression carved on human hearts, the discipline that inspires long after the name is forgotten. The fruits of a disciplined legacy. Respect, earned not by demand, but by steadfast living. Trust, others lean on the memory of strength. Wisdom, lessons lived, not lectured, ripple outward. Immortality of example. A disciplined life becomes a torch passed to others. The final lesson. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." This is the essence of legacy. To live today with discipline. To shape the soul not for applause, but for eternity. Complaints leave nothing. Discipline leaves everything. Control your mind. Control your life. And in doing so, you will leave behind not noise, but a flame, quiet, steady, eternal.